Welcome to this introduction to using Maat, a powerful source of truth solution that can be used to describe your services and resources using custom schemas. This video will walk you through the steps of using the Maat APIs to manage services and resources. Maat is designed to be an extensible, reusable, and automation-ready source of truth for defining and managing your network resources and services. It provides open, standards-based APIs to access a scalable database with an extensible data model and integrated validation. It also comes with a dynamic graphical user interface and a separate notification engine. Additionally, Maat supports granular authentication and authorization, as well as detailed logging, which are available when using additional components. All these features make it an ideal choice for your automation-ready inventory. Our focus in this video will be the Maat REST APIs. There is one for service management and another one for resource management. Both the service and resource APIs are TMF compliant and are available via 4 HTTP methods: GET, POST, DELETE, and PATCH. To view some examples of API calls for Maat, you can go to the Maat user guide in the example API requests section. When exploring Maat APIs, you can either use curl on the command line interface or use a tool such as Postman. In the user guide, you will find a pre-prepared example collection of REST API calls in Postman. For running these examples, in this video, we will run a Maat instance using Docker containers. The specific version of Docker Compose file that we are going to use will run Maat together with the Maat user interface and HTTPS access via Nginx. This means that in this video, we will be accessing Maat using SSL. If you already have Maat up and running with these features, you can skip this part of the video and move on to the use of Postman. If you don't have Maat up and running already, before running Docker Compose, don't forget to edit the env file and set the appropriate parameters. Clone the Maat repo and enter the Docker directory. Here you will find the env file. Make sure you set your IP address in the Maat host variable. Switch to using HTTPS protocol and also set your IP address for both resources and services. You need to change to port number 8082 to make sure the service and resource API requests go via Nginx that listens to this port and then forwards the calls to Maat using HTTP. Don't forget to change the host for event listener to your IP address as well. Once you save the env file, you are ready to run Docker Compose. Wait until all containers are up and running. For more details regarding the installation process, please refer to the Maat installation video. Once Docker Compose has done its job, you can use an example API request to check if Maat is working. You copy-paste the curl command from the user guide. Then you need to change the IP address to your IP address. The response will be an empty set because Maat's database is initially empty. If you are using Docker Desktop, you will also see all of the containers running, showing that Maat is ready to be used. React is the Maat user interface component, and Gateway is the Nginx. Now we are ready to move on to using Postman to make API calls. In the Maat user guide, you can find the section dedicated to the Postman collection. The provided link takes you to the collection located in the Bitbucket repo. You will need to import the Maat Postman collection JSON file in Postman. If you cloned the Maat repo, you will also find this file locally in the source main resources directory. In Postman, you can start from an empty workspace. In this workspace, you can import the Maat Postman Collection JSON file. Once import is completed, you will see the two sets of API calls for Maat and Event Listener. For the Maat API, there are separate requests for resources and for services. Before using the collection, you must configure some of the variables similar to before. The variables that need to be changed are the Maat host to your IP address, number of port to 8082, and the host for Event Listener as well. After saving, you are ready to use the collection. The first example is the GET request for resources. The response code is 200 OK with an initial empty set because Maat database does not have any resources yet. Similarly, we get a 200 OK with empty JSON set for services as well. To create a resource, we will use the example provided in the post resource request. In the body, there is an example resource that can be created once the request is sent. The 201 response means that the resource has been created, and in the JSON body, you can see the attributes of the created resource, including its ID and its reference. There are also several attributes referring to the creation and modification dates, for an example. If you now use the ID of the created resource to make a GET request, you will get the full list of attributes for this resource. You can use the resource ID to make changes to the resource using a patch request. In the body of the request, you need to provide the new values of the attributes you would like to change. In this example, it is the resource description. Once the request is sent, the response will show the changed values of the resource attributes. By using the resource ID, you can also delete the resource. There is no body with the delete request, and once it's sent, the response has no content. If we now do another GET of resources, we no longer see the resource from before. Similar actions can be done for services as well. Initially, there are no services. We can create a new service using post, change the service using patch, and finally, delete the service using delete. All of the actions that we have made in Maat so far are captured by the event listener. Using the GET event request, we can get information regarding the past activities in Maat. The response from this request contains information about all requests that we have done previously. In the params part of the GET event request, there are a lot of parameters that can be used to filter out different events of interest, such as types, as presented in this example, where we only get information about events regarding the creation of resources. You can also get information when the event was created. Or you can use the offset limit or specify time intervals. We are now going to add a few simple resources to Maat. We are adding a few switches and routers using the Maat Resource Management API. If we check with GET request, we can see all of the added resources. We can now show an example of using the parameters of the GET request, such as limit, offset, fields, and category. We can limit the response to only one resource. If we use limit 1 with offset 3, we get only the third resource. We can define to see only some fields, such as name. The ID attribute is of course always present. We can also define to only see some categories of resources, such as routers. When removing the fields parameter, we get all fields for the chosen category. We can also do something similar with services. First, we need to add a few simple services. We will add a few service access points and a few link services. When sending GET requests for these services, we can again use the params section similarly as for resources. The functionality, as shown in the examples, is the same as for resources. Thank you for watching this short introduction to using Maat REST APIs. For more details and advanced configurations, check out our documentation.